Get in. That be hard right there. That's hard. Get in. Okay, get in. Okay. Yeah.
I be full as hell. But it's hard. Piano was showing them piano.
That's a hard beat right there. That's a hard one right there. It's like, oh, we creeping up on them. We coming. We coming, boy.
You see it. You see it.
You better watch behind your back.
Watch out. The boogeyman's here.
Giving that Jason. Giving that Jason.
Call my name 3 times. I might show up.
I might show up. I know mine was called 3 times. That's like the Candyman up in here,
You
boy.
feel stop. We always prepared. Ready right here. If you want, you can drink it there.
Y'all go ahead and get in here. Ain't that like button. Right. Let's go.
Yeah. Get in the building.
Go. Oh.
Get in the building.
Gideon Block. You ain't gonna show them your face. This is where we get our beats from. For real. So, Army. We family. We family for real. That's where we got our beats from. So I'm gonna preface by saying, first of all, no disrespect to anyone. It's all in love. So
It is.
please don't be offended.
Of course it is. Nobody can be. It's all in love.
All in love. Yeah. So I figured it was time.
You see, I got on my. You see, I got on my Gilligan Island shirt.
I'm done. I ain't on no Gilligan Island. It's Wakanda over here all day. And like they be saying, they're the darkest minds of the light. Well, we're gonna be the lightest minds of the dark.
Every day, all day.
Every day, all day. Yeah, there you go. That's Gideon Block right now. That's it.
Yeah, we in the lab.
Y'all haven't had a pseudo killer troll song in a while.
Nah, that's a good one. I'm gonna be killing that one. So I need like 2 more so I can rotate them because you know how I'm gonna be. But
I gave you 3 just now though. You know that, right?
I know. But one you already gave me. I already got major beats.
You do?
I do. Yeah, you got me one more. And so since we're pseudo Gilligan's Island, I decided, because I'm so smart, lightest minds of the dark, that they're gonna be the Muppets.
It's time to hit the music. It's time to hit the night. It's time to join the Muppets on the Muppet Show tonight. This is what we call the Muppet Show.
Yeah, so and that's not it. I got some other things I'm gonna do, but we're gonna say it's gonna be a surprise. But yeah, it's good. This is the HOK Muppet babies over there. Yeah, but again, Snoop Killer's like Candyman, call her name twice. Here we go. But what was so funny, and you see the title, B. 5, 4, 5. Oh, when that rabbit got that gun. Did I say that or I say something else?
It ain't no fun when the rabbit got a gun.
Yeah.
Easy.
So we got something for you. You ready, Cedric? We're just gonna get right into it because
as pseudo killers, we always ready.
Yeah.
And you see, we stay ready.
Yeah.
So let's deal with this stuff in real time. Yeah. Wow. And let's show the level of presentation and scholarship on the subject matter. Yeah. Let's look at this, shall we? Without further ado, Juju, share my screen.
I got you. Yeah, this was in our back pocket. I think we found this when we found some lint we was cleaning up. So it's just a little something. Just a little.
Yeah.
There
Let me
you
just do
go.
this.
Let the
So, folks,
presentation begin.
you read the title. It's called Death and the Afterlife, Myths, Fears, and Finality. Let's get into it. I don't fear death. I have been dead for billions and billions of years before I was born and had not suffered the slightest inconvenience from it. Mark Twain. Good evening, everyone. Tonight we conclude our series on spirit, soul, and consciousness with a topic that ties it all together: death. Not as some mystical, but as a natural, inevitable process. A process often misunderstood and layered with myth, fear, and fantasy. Death is one of the greatest universal experiences, one that every single conscious being contemplates. And yet, our cultural narratives around death are shaped less by fact and more by psychological need, existential fear, and centuries of myth making. Tonight, we explore why, why the fear of death leads to beliefs in souls and afterlives. What really happens biologically and neurologically at death? How societies construct continuity, myths like heaven, reincarnation, and near death experiences. And we critically debunk those claims using neuroscience, psychology, and rational inquiry. Let's begin at the root: fear. Fear of death and the birth of belief. The psychological root of afterlife beliefs. Humans are the only species known to fully comprehend their own mortality. That's a lot to carry. This awareness brings existential terror, a core concept in psychology called terror management theory, TMT. According to TMT, humans create symbolic systems, religions, legacies, nationhood, ideology to manage their fear of non-existence. Greenberg, Stravinsky, and Solomon, 1998.
Subway series, an all new way to Subway. From irresistible cheesesteaks to our chicken sensations,
Sorry, we
only
can't
at
pause
Subway.
that.
Terror management theory, TMT, proposed by social psychologists Jeff Greenberg, Tom Pishinsky, and Sheldon Solomon in the late 1980s, is a psychological concept that explores how humans deal with the inherent fear of mortality. Central to TMT is the notion that much of human behavior is driven by an underlying fear of death and the need to manage the terror this realization engenders. According to TMT, people employ two primary psychological mechanisms to buffer the anxiety associated with the awareness of mortality: cultural worldview, validation, and self-esteem enhancement. Cultural worldview validation involves adhering to the values and beliefs of one's culture, which provides a sense of meaning and order to the world. Through this lens, individuals perceive themselves as part of something enduring beyond their finite lives. Self-esteem enhancement, on the other hand, is about perceiving oneself as a valuable member of the cultural framework. By meeting or exceeding the standards of value within one's culture, individuals bolster their self-esteem, which serves as a protective shield against existential anxiety. TMT has been supported through a plethora of research, including the mortality salience paradigm. In such studies, making subjects subconsciously aware of their own mortality, for example, through questions about their death, often results in intensified defense of their cultural worldviews and increased striving for self-esteem. It is essential to recognize that TMT has broad societal implications. For instance, it helps to explain phenomena like nationalism, religious extremism, and aggression towards those with different cultural beliefs, as these behaviors can be seen as ways to defend one's worldview against the existential threat posed by alternative perspectives. In conclusion, terror management theory offers a profound insight into the psychological mechanisms that underlie a broad range of human behaviors and cultural phenomena. It highlights the depth at which the awareness of our mortality can shape individual and collective actions.
That's deep. Let's continue. Fear of death and the birth of belief. Taramanjan bin theory explained, when reminded of death, of mortality saline, people become more defensive of their worldview. For example, when confronted with reminders of death, people might become more strongly attached to their religious beliefs, national identity, or political ideology. They may also engage in behaviors that strengthen in-group favoritism and out-group hostility. Religious belief provide literal immortality, soul, heavens. Religious immortality beliefs are powerful in that they offer not just an abstract idea of continued existence, but often involves rewards or punishment, offering a moral framework and an ultimate sense of justice. This can help individuals cope with mortality sailing by providing a sense of that their lives have lasting significance. The belief in an afterlife or the persistence of the soul effectively reduces existential anxiety by offering comfort, meaning, and purpose beyond the limits of human life. Secular ideologies offer symbolic immortality, achievements, legacy, while secular symbolic immortality doesn't offer the same spiritual promises as an afterlife. It allows individuals to create meaning and purpose in the face of death by focusing on what they can contribute to the world, the people they affect, and the ideas they leave behind. This can be just as comforting and motivating, helping to reduce existential anxiety and provide a sense of continuity beyond one's lifetime. This explains why nearly every culture has developed a narrative where something survives after death, be it a soul, reincarnated self, or place in an eternal afterlife. Historical emergence of afterlife myths. Ancient burial sites like those at the Natufian culture, circa 13,000 years ago, show care in burying the dead with tools, flowers, and food, suggesting a belief in some form of continuation. Vitet, the Paleolithic origins of human burials in 2011, from Egyptians' belief in the Ka and Ba to Hindu reincarnation, Abrahamic heaven and hell, the common denominator is denial of annihilation. Why? Because the finality of death feels intolerable to many. As Ernst Becker wrote in The Denial of Death in 1973, the idea of death, the fear of it, haunts the human animal like nothing else. What happens when we die? Biology of death. What really happens at death? Let's strip away the mythology. What does science say happens at death? Death occurs in stages. Clinical death, heart stops, breathing ceases. Biological deaths, cells begin dying from lack of oxygen. Brain death, neuronal activity cease, especially in the cortex and brainstem. The brain especially dies quickly, within 20 to 30 seconds after cardiac arrest. Electrical activity flatline, Bjorn and colleagues in the PNAS in 2013. After about 6 minutes without oxygen, irreversible brain damage begins.
After you die, your brain continues to work for more than 10 minutes. Despite having a functionally dead heart, your brain will continue to work. In fact, it might be the last part of your body to die. When doctors turned off life support for terminal patients declared clinically dead, the brain appeared to be active for more than 10 minutes. And when they scanned electroencephalographic EEG recordings in these individuals, they found striking differences between each one of them. This probably means that every one of us will go through a unique experience when we die. Moments before death, your brain receives a surge of electricity. No one knows why it happens. Even after your breathing and heartbeat stop, You are still conscious for about 2 to 20 seconds. This is because the cerebral cortex can last without oxygen. This part of the brain is responsible for thinking and decision making. It's also responsible for converting the information gathered by our senses into actions.
Hi, thank you for joining us. We appreciate your support. Like, share and subscribe to the Pseudo Killers and community of skeptics. Thank you.
What happens at death when we die? Biology of death. Neural shutdown. What the data shows. In 2018, Review of Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience explained that the so-called life review or flash of light in a near-death experience often result from hyperactivity in the visual cortex during hypoxia. It's the brain's last fireworks show, not evidence of a departing soul. The last fireworks show hypothesis is based on the idea that as the brain nears the end of its function, there could be a surge of activity in the brain's neural network. This may result from the brain's attempt to make sense of the distressing physiological conditions it is experiencing, such as the lack of oxygen, and could explain the vivid, surreal experiences reported by individuals who have near-death experiences. So the idea that they don't exist is not something pseudo killers would say. As in our last episode, we talked extensively about near-death experiences. Again, they happen. What we understand, though, is that there is a clinical and scientific explanation for what is going on. From a neurological perspective, these experiences are the result of brain processes such as changes in brain chemistry, blood flow, or electrical activity. During a state of extreme stress or near death, these processes can create hallucinatory experiences or feelings of transcendence that might be misinterpreted as a spiritual phenomena. In essence, the flash of light and life review could be the brain's way of processing extreme stress, combining memory retrieval, sensory overload, and neural malfunction under hypoxic conditions. This provides a naturalistic explanation for these experiences, suggesting that they are not evidence of the departing soul or consciousness, but rather the final response of the brain under severe duress.
And then you have to prove the death experience is a subjective experience. So how can you prove subjective experience? That's why we did the longitudinal study about the transformation. And we saw that the main transformation is no fear of death anymore. A new insight, which is important in life. This is empathy, compassion, and love. First towards yourself. Accept your own negative aspects. Accept empathy and compassion towards others and towards nature, because they are connected with everybody else too. That's why they call it also experience of oneness. So it's a kind of a life insight experience. And the third aspect is enhanced intuitive sensitivity, that they know what other people think and other people feel. They know about future events. When someone will die, they know someone will have cancer. You cannot do it, but they will not. Only the patient within the death experience has expressive transformation, which is the objective proof for the subjective experience.
So you heard it, right? It came full circle. People have all kind of ideas, and they are all anecdotal. What we can objectively identify is that these experiences are real. So again, why do you misquote the pseudo killers? And let me pause for a second, because indeed, during the last time I was over there on the Muppet Show, I did indeed say something wrong. I was trying to illustrate, which was so eloquently done tonight, the amount of information that we do have with regards to the quantum world, and misinterpreting that data and misusing it is pseudoscience. So in that event, I did say in a haste that there's no Higgs boson particle. That was an error on my part. Indeed, there is the Higgs boson particle, but it's indeed the Higgs boson field that gives subatomic particles their mass. The Higgs boson, aka the God particle, was discovered way back when in the 2010s. So we and the search was for what does this come out of, what does it mean, and the Higgs boson and the Higgs field was subsequently discovered after that. So again, as a pseudo killer, if I'm wrong, I'll admit that I'm wrong. I was indeed wrong in the haste of trying to explain a particular point. I indeed misspoke. So yes, there is a particular particle called the Higgs boson, and it is part of the Higgs boson field, the field that gives subatomic particles their mass. Okay, having corrected that, let's continue. What happens when we die? Biology of death, decomposition and entropy. Could you help me? Autolysis. After death, cells begin to break down themselves in a process called autolysis. This occurs because the enzymes within the cell, which normally help break down substances for metabolic processes, begin to digest the cell's own components. This is largely due to the cessation of circulation and the resulting lack of oxygen, causing the cell to die and self-destruct. Putrefaction. After the initial breakdown of cell, bacteria, which are normally kept in check by the immune system and other mechanisms during life, begin to flourish and multiply in the body. These bacteria break down tissue, leading to decomposition of the body. This is what occurs, but this is what causes the characteristic smell of death, as bacteria and other microorganisms work to break down the organic matter. Gas and heat. As tissue decomposes, gases such as methane, hydrogen sulfide, and ammonia are produced by the bacterial breakdown of proteins and other body components. These gases build up inside the body, leading to bloating. Heat is also generated during microbial processes, but over time, the body cools as metabolic activity ceases.
When someone dies, their body goes through many stages of decomposition. The fresh stage begins immediately after the heart stops beating. The skin turns purple. The muscles begin to stiffen in a process called rigor mortis. In the bloat stage, gases build up in the body, causing the abdomen to expand. As the pressure increases, bodily fluids and gases push out of any orifice. In the active decay stage, maggots feed on the flesh and the largest amount of biomass is lost. Finally, in the advanced stage, the body will continue to break down until only dry remains are left. While the stages of decomposition are the same for all humans, the speed depends on many factors, like temperature, environment, and cause of death.
Warm weather will cause the body to break down more quickly. Cold weather will slow it down a great deal.
Let's continue. You're still with me? Share the show. Tell a friend to come hear some real science and understanding the reality of what happens when we die, the biology of death, decomposition and entropy, energy transfer. There's no soul or energy that escapes the body upon death, at least not in a measurable, scientifically detectable way. Any energy that was previously within the body, as chemical energy in cells, for example, this dissipates in the form of heat during the decomposition process. The body returns to a state of thermodynamic equilibrium where the energy is it once contained disperses into the surrounding environment. Thermodynamic disassembly. As you mentioned, As you mentioned, death can be viewed as was mentioned. Sorry, death can be viewed as thermodynamic disassembly, where the disordered system of the living organism, cells, tissue, organs break down into disordered state. This process follows the second law of thermodynamics, where energy naturally disperses and systems move towards a state of maximum entropy, disorder. The body, once a complex, organized system, eventually becomes part of the broader environment, undergoing the same physical processes as any other material object in nature. In this view, that is purely a physical process, and there's no evidence from science to support the existence of a soul or any measurable consciousness that persists after death. The body undergoes chemical and biological processes of decay, and there is no energy that transfers to another plane of existence, reinforcing the naturalistic, materialistic perspective on death. I'm sorry for those who wants to do the woo, who wants to quote doctors who are giving their anecdotal account. There is no evidence. Someone can have a hypothesis, which they're allowed to have. We are investigating these things. They are fascinating to us. That doesn't mean that there's actual evidence to support their claim. This is what the science says. So don't misuse science to support your fringe, to say to be kind to the Muppets, fringe ideas. I won't say downright pseudo. Should I say pseudo now? But I'm save that for other occasions. The psychological and social need for continuity narratives. Why do we need an afterlife? Death is not just a biological event. The pseudo killers have no compassion for humanity. We give you the complete narrative as we always do. It's a social rupture. We have families. We're human beings. We understand these things. We experience them ourselves. That's why we're on YouTube building a legacy so our kids can watch it. And our grandkids probably can see it. We're human. We build narratives to soften the rupture. Psychologically, we crave continuity. Some assurance that our story doesn't just end. I live on through my kids and my legacy. We all do it. The psychological and social need of continuity narratives. Psychological impact of death. Human beings have an inherent need for continuity and meaning in their lives. As conscious, self-aware creatures, we construct personal narratives to make sense of our existence. These narratives help us interpret our past, navigate the present, and imagine the future. The idea of death as an endpoint to the narrative can be deeply unsettling. The psychological discomfort arises from the thought that our personal story might simply end, leaving no trace beyond the impact of those around us. We all think about it. Just like, as we near 50, 51, 50, you start to think about that stuff much, much more. You want your kids more around you and stuff like that, although they're off in the world. This is personal now. This is my anecdotal account to show you I am a human being. Doesn't stop me from understanding and accepting the reality of things, but still not being disconnected emotionally from the reality of this. My dad lost my dad a couple of years ago, and I wish he was here. And I can hear him in my head. Conscious of him not being anywhere else doesn't make me less human. The idea of death as an endpoint to the narrative can be deeply unsettling. The psychological discomfort arises from the thought that our personal story might simply end, leaving no trace beyond the impact on those around us. Fear of oblivion, the fear that once we die, we are forgotten and our existence was ultimately meaningless, is one of the strongest existential anxieties people face. This is sometimes called existential death anxiety. It is not just about the physical cessation of life, but the idea that our narrative, the meaning we've created, would fade into nothingness. You start to think about that when your kids, just, when you got all these ideas and you see everybody living their own lives and you appreciate it. And you start to think, okay, I'm doing my own thing. Yeah, you understand that. So we all face these things. However, creating pseudo-narratives to comfort ourselves may help in some sense, but pushing pseudo-narratives in the community doesn't help us at all. Craving continuity. This craving for continuity can lead people to seek out ways to transcend their mortality. We create stories, beliefs, and traditions that promise some form of continuity, whether it's through the idea of an afterlife, the legacy we leave behind, or the enduring influence we have on others.
We are all going to die, and the pressure we feel from the realization of this brutal fact of life is called death anxiety. Death anxiety is the realization that our existence is forever overshadowed by the knowledge that while we all will have our moment in the sun to grow and blossom, which is nice, inevitably, you and all the people that you know will succumb to the hand of Father Time, and eventually will die and diminish into nothingness. Philosopher Epicurus believed that our fear of death was the leading cause of our own misery, and because of this, the looming inevitability of us ceasing to exist interferes with our enjoyment of life and leaves no pleasure undisturbed. To protect ourselves over our lifetime, many of us develop an array of methods to ameliorate our fear of death. Some methods require us to engage in shaky, frenetic, and aimless activities, while others offer a more effective way of helping us deal with our death anxiety.
You start to tint the skewed tint to that video. The psychological and social need of continuity narratives. Social and cultural narratives. From a social and cultural perspective, that also creates a rupture in the communal fabric. Societies respond to this disruption in various ways by creating rituals, beliefs, and systems that attempt to buffer the shock of loss and provide meaning to the lives of the deceased. Religious narratives. Many religions offer the promise of immortality or an afterlife, providing both individuals and community with the assurance that death is not the end. These beliefs are a source of comfort as they offer continuity beyond the individual's life. The idea of an eternal soul or a reunion with loved ones in the afterlife helps maintain a sense of purpose in the face of mortality. Rituals and commemorations. Social rituals surrounding death, funerals, memorials, anniversaries, help provide a structure of mourning and processing loss. These rituals can also serve as a way to keep the memory of the deceased alive in the community, reinforcing the idea that their story continues in some form. Cultural legacy. Even outside of religious context, people often seek to leave behind a legacy, whether through children, contributions to society, or lasting work in a particular field. This desire for legacy is the reason why we have a lot of this desire for legacy is deeply tied to the need for symbolic immortality. The idea is that while the individual body may die, their influence, their impact, or their ideas live on in the world and continue to shape the future. But you can't do it taking shortcuts. You got to put in the real work. The psychological and social need of continuity narratives, the role of memory and storytelling. Memory and storytelling are powerful tools we use to bridge the gap between life and death. By remembering and retelling stories about individuals who've passed on, to ensure that their influence continues. Stories of the deceased can provide comfort to the living, offering both a way to process grief and to maintain a connection to the person who has died. collective memory. Communities engage in collective memory making, whether through oral tradition, written records, or cultural celebrations of the dead. In many ways, the community becomes the guardian of the individual's legacy, preserving their identity beyond the physical world. The need for meaning. Ultimately, the drive to create narratives around death is about meaning. We are meaning-making beings, and death forces us to confront the possibility that our meaning may come to an abrupt and final end. By creating stories, rituals, and systems of belief, we soften the harshness of this reality and find ways to continue beyond our physical limits, at least in the eyes of others, or in the legacy we leave. This drive for continuity isn't limited to just religious or cultural narratives. It's also found in the personal stories we tell ourselves. Individuals often reflect on their lives as a series of meaningful events, each contributing to a larger narrative. Death represents the final chapter in that story. And so, the desire for continuity is rooted in the need to feel that our lives have purpose, that our narrative matters, and that even if the body ceases, our story doesn't truly end.
When you die, you go to another life. Maybe heaven, maybe purgatory, maybe hell, who knows? I think nowadays, though, the more general idea, the more plausible idea to many people, is that when we die, we just cease to be. That's all there is to it. But in the Eastern world, there are different ideas of this. The major Eastern idea is what is generally known as reincarnation. It isn't a belief in something which we can't believe. It's really quite a self-evident notion. Being reborn again is exactly the equivalent of somebody else being born, because we have no consciousness of our continuity unless we have memory, a particular set of memory sanctions. Death is not the end of consciousness.
You see where the woo starts to come into the equation. That's my good boy friend Alan Watts. Listen to him for years. He's quite interesting, makes you think. But don't believe everything he says. He's just a philosopher. Function of afterlife beliefs. Grief management. There's a better place. One of the most common phrases used to comfort those grieving the death of a loved one, is the idea that the deceased is in a better place, often referring to an afterlife such as heaven. This belief can provide solace to those left behind by framing death not as an end, but as a transition to a positive, peaceful state. It helps mitigate the intense emotional pain of loss by offering a sense of continuity, where the loved ones is now in a state of eternal happiness or rest, far removed from the struggles and suffering of life. This is not necessarily about truth, but about alleviating the psychological burden of grief and providing comfort in the face of death. Moral reinforcement. Good people go to heaven, bad people burn. Belief in an afterlife, especially when paired with the concept of moral judgment, for example, the righteous being rewarded and the wicked being punished, serves as a form of moral reinforcement. The idea that there is divine justice, where one's action during life determine their fate in the afterlife, can encourage ethical behavior by framing morality in terms of ultimate consequences. It can also provide people with a sense of order and justice, even when things seem unfair in the temporal world. This can create a framework where good deeds are intrinsically linked to the hope of reward, while bad deeds carry the threat of punishment, which motivates individuals to align with societal moral codes.
The Bible speaks clearly about life after death. For believers, death is not the end, it's a doorway. 2 Corinthians tells us that to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. Jesus promised the thief on the cross, "Today you will be with me in paradise." This isn't just hope, it's a divine guarantee. Heaven awaits those who trust in Christ.
Amen. Social cohesion, shared beliefs create tribal bonds. Religious beliefs, especially those concerning the afterlife, can foster social cohesion by creating shared values, rituals, and narratives that bind people together. A common belief in life after death can strengthen group identity as it creates a shared worldview that individuals within the group subscribe to. This unity, grounded in belief, creates a collective sense of purpose, belonging, and security. It also reinforces social norms and values by aligning them with the perceived will of a higher power. Over time, these shared beliefs become deeply ingrained in cultural traditions and can serve as a foundation for communal life, helping to maintain social order and stability. Power structures, weaponization of fear and hope. The afterlife, particularly the concept of heaven and hell, has historically been used by elites and religious leaders to maintain control over populations. By promoting fear of hell and the promise of paradise, religious authorities can manipulate followers' actions and beliefs. Examples include indulgence. During the Middle Ages, the Catholic Church sold indulgences, which promised to reduce the time spent in purgatory, thereby leveraging the fear of hell to raise funds for the church. This system allowed religious leaders to profit from people's anxiety about the afterlife. Jihadism and martyrdom. In some instances, religious leaders have exploited the promise of paradise to motivate individuals to take extreme actions, such as martyrdom. The idea of an afterlife reward for sacrificing one's life in the service of a religious cause has been a key driver for radical movements, often in the form of jihadism. These beliefs are used to manipulate emotions and rally people to fight for a cause, promising them eternal bliss in return for their sacrifice. Control over behavior. In general, religious leaders and institutions can wield significant power by controlling the narrative surrounding the afterlife, dictating what is required to achieve salvation and threatening eternal punishment for non-compliance. This can consolidate their authority and maintain societal control, particularly when the belief in the afterlife is deeply woven into the fabric of the culture. Belief in the afterlife serves emotional regulation, not truth-finding. As we have pointed out, the belief in the afterlife is not necessarily about seeking the truth, but about managing emotions, primarily the fear of death, suffering, and the unknown. In times of personal and societal crisis, belief in an afterlife can provide comfort and a sense of control, offering an emotional anchor in the face of mortality. The idea that life continues in some form after death serves to reassure individuals with fragile hearts on the Muppet shows that their lives have meaning beyond the temporary physical existence. It allows people to face the inevitability of their own mortality with hope and comfort rather than dread. Whatever crutch you need is fine, but don't be out here selling the people pseudo information. That's not nice. I won't invite you to Gilligan's Island if you do that. From a psychological perspective, the afterlife serves as a coping mechanism, helping individuals find peace in the face of existential anxiety. And we heard some of that tonight. Whether it's the desire to avoid the unknown or the hope for ultimate justice. These beliefs provide emotional regulation and a way to process the fear of uncertainties that come with living in a finite world. In summary, the belief in the afterlife is far more complex than just a search for truth. It plays a crucial role in managing grief, reinforcing mortality, fostering social cohesion, consolidating power, and providing emotional comfort. It fulfills a psychological need for continuity, meaning, and hope, especially when faced with the stark reality of death. The way it is used by religious institutions for social control and to manipulate fear and hope is an important aspect to consider, especially understanding the broader societal function of these beliefs. Common claims of near-death experiences. Who knows we would have had this right here tonight? Debunking common claims of continuity. I think the pseudo killers stay ready. Near-death experience prove after life after death. Claim people who have near-death experience report seeing a light at the end of the tunnel, meeting deceased loved ones, or experiencing a profound sense of peace. These experiences are often presented as evidence of life after death, suggesting that consciousness survived the physical death. Lo and behold, didn't I hear that claim tonight? Counter. Psychological explanation. As mentioned earlier, near-death experiences are more likely to be caused by physiological explanation, by physiological processes. Let me start over. Physiological explanations. As mentioned earlier, near-death experiences are more likely to be caused by physiological processes, particularly brain activity during extreme stress or oxygen deprivation. Dun, 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 dun. Studies suggest that the feeling of moving through a tunnel or encountering the darkest minds of the light could be a result of changes in brain chemistry, such as hypoxia, the lack of oxygen. Sometimes I wonder if hypoxia isn't more common amongst normal people walking, because sometimes the neurotransmitters seem to be surging and the brain's attempt to make sense of the trauma. No evidence. Let's slow down, because we heard claims, we heard anecdotal accounts, and we heard this doctor, that doctor, but we saw no evidence. We saw no peer-reviewed work. All we heard was hypotheses and suggestions and throwing around of academic credentials as if that is supposed to scare a pseudo-killer, when we focus on the methodology and the evidence. And since there is no evidence of consciousness after death, despite the vivid experience people are reporting during near-death experiences, there's no evidence to suggest that consciousness continues after biological death. Since the Nabar thinks she can do me, I'll do her. Near-death experiences happen while the brain, the brain, that mass in your head, that gray mushy stuff, is still functioning, even if it is a limited capacity. Once the brain ceases all function, there is no measurable consciousness or awareness. Again, let's slow it down for the ones that's sitting in the front of the class.
Nah, slow it down for the ones in the back, because that's where they at. But yeah, slow that down. Slow that down.
No evidence of consciousness after death. So again, when you continue to do that fallacy called the appeal to false authority, because you could not provide any evidence, no scholarly work, just their personal opinion, and some of them having had their own near-death experiences. I know that you guys, by the darkest line of the darkest minds of the light, like to make up stuff and pretend that you're being scholarly. However, there is no evidence of consciousness after death. Despite the vivid experiences people report during near-death experiences, there is no evidence. You know what is evidence? Not claims, evidence, substantiated. Falsifiability means something that needs to be tested. I can make anything up. There is no evidence to suggest that consciousness continues after biological death. When you play it back, go look because it's slowed down. There's a couple of slides explaining what biological death is. Near-death experiences happen while the brain is still functioning.
Yep.
It's still working, it's still functioning, even if in a limited capacity. Once the brain ceases all function, no more, there is no measurable consciousness or awareness. Now, maybe because you're the darkest minds of the light, you can engage the aura and maybe you can see the consciousness that's beyond the measurable. Because you know, your quantum aura may be much more aware than I can ever be. However, I'm going to stick with the data, the actual science, the up-to-date science, and not the woo. Thank you, because we don't do the Muppet Show over here. Cultural influence. Near-death experiences are often shaped by an individual cultural and religious background. Now, in your case, you might see a whole array of gods because you're all over the place. But for most people, for instance, people from religious backgrounds may report meeting religious figures like Jesus or angels, while others may have different interpretations. This suggests that near-death experiences are influenced more by psychological and cultural factors than by evidence, that word again, of an afterlife. You see, the word evidence is fundamental. You maybe like to stay in the woo environment where you can make it up, because again, doing actual work and scholarly work requires a little bit more effort, to be honest. And maybe, like I just went through a cathartic process reading this. You saw me choking up because my dad was coming up when I was reading these psychological effects. I worked my way through it. That's what mature people do. We don't come on the on these streets and push our pseudoisms to comfort our own existential anxiety. That is not what we do. That's not that we don't do that though. Okay, let us continue. Debunking common claims of continuity. We're debunking you now. Okay, so you don't skip the beginning of the show because it's essential. Y'all skip the steps. That's why you get smacked around. The soul leaves the body at death. Claim. Many religious and spiritual traditions teach that the soul separates from the body upon death and enters another realm, such as heaven, hell, and reincarnation. Since you think that, go back and watch the 3 episodes of The Spirit, digest that, and then go watch The Spirit versus the Soul. Then you will understand when I say no empirical evidence. There is no scientific evidence for the existence of a soul that can leave the body. The idea of the soul is a theological and philosophical concept, metaphysical on top of that, not one grounded in observable, testable phenomena, the requirements for falsifiability. Remember that this Saturday. The process of dying and decomposition are purely biological, with no measurable departure of any non-material existence. Now, unfortunately, we all enjoy hearing your voice. We appreciate your beautiful articulation of the English language. And although I think sometimes you drag a little too much, but other than that, we appreciate it. However, when what you're saying is neither testable, measurable, you're wasting people's time. Stop it. brain function and consciousness. He said that that consciousness is only an emergent property of matter. Unfortunately, it's not me. This is what the science says. We communicate science. Don't blame Gilligan's Island. I can only report information from Gilligan's Island. I do not have the resources to make stuff up like the darkest minds of the light. The brain is responsible for consciousness. Oh my! Don't get upset with me. You read it right there. Blow it up on the screen. It's not me. This is what the science says. We are science communicators. Thought and personality. When the brain ceases to function at death. Now, let's not go all the way there. You see, when you take a nail and shove it in the dude's head and they pull it out after, he had a completely different personality because fundamental areas of his brain, which formed his character, were destroyed, providing real-time evidence for the fact that the brain produces awareness. When the brain ceases to function at death, so too does conscious awareness. I'm sorry. I know I may hurt your feelings. I'm sorry. Sit down, drink some chamomile tea, and engage with reality with both feet on the ground. Take your shoes off, get grounded. I can do a little voodoo. There is no observable or measurable phenomena that suggests an immaterial soul exists separate from the brain. Whatever woo you want to preach, it's okay. But why call out the pseudo killers? We stay ready and you're going to get smashed every time because you're making stuff up and you have no evidence to support it. We can see the fallacious presentation a mile away. We can distinguish a claim from evidence. We know what is an anecdotal account. We can tell when you're just doing that fallacy called a false appeal to authority. He's a doctor. He's a neuroscientist. He had an NED and he said this. What does the science say about NEDs? What you telling me what his personal account is? It's irrelevant when we're having discussions on this level. Not the darkest mind level. The actual academic scholar. Anyway. There is no measurable, there is no observable or measurable phenomena. Maybe I need to explain what phenomena is. It's the event, the thing. It doesn't mean supernatural. Like, when he say the forces. And what do you care what Planck said? Was Planck around when they were colliding in the Hadron? No. So his assertion is but that. Again, this dropping name nonsense needs to stop. You're not intimidating anyone. We're the one who embrace these scientists. Historical and cultural variability. The concept of a soul and its journey after death varies greatly across cultures and religious traditions. So now if you have a clue, the slightest clue about anthropology, that would give you an indication that these concepts are not universal, so not grounded in reality, but they are unique to each culture because they have own traditions. Their variability suggests that the idea of the soul is a human construct shaped by societal and cultural influence rather than a universal truth about existence. Y'all need to just leave the pseudo killers alone. Y'all the Muppet Show, we G.I. Joe. We flying in stealth bombers. Y'all got hands up your butts.
Yeah.
Stop.
That's funny.
Pause.
I know, right? Bye.
Yeah, we almost there. Reincarnation, people remembering past lives. You know, they're dismissing the work the doctor is doing with the reincarnation in the past life regression. Well, you don't stop it. Why you insist? Claims about some individuals claim to have memories of past lives and that they've been reincarnated. These memories are often vivid and detailed, leading some to believe in reality of reincarnation. False memories and psychological factors. Reconciliation of past lives can often be explained by psychological phenomena such as false memories, imagination, or even the influence of suggestion. Children who report past lives. Oh, pseudo killers, stay ready. Didn't you make that claim just about 10 minutes ago? Children who report past life memories may be influenced by stories they've heard, by cultural narratives, or by subconscious memories that they've interpreted as past life experiences. Lack of verifiable evidence. That word keeps coming up. I need a shirt saying, got any evidence? And I want it written so it could sound like that. Got any evidence? Despite many claims of reincarnation, there is no verifiable evidence that someone has lived a past life. Studies, here we go, slow down. Studies attempting to document reincarnation have failed to provide concrete evidence that could distinguish between genuine recollections of past lives and ordinary memory or imagination. Somebody say amen. Let me read that again. Let me take a sip of my tea.
Amen.
Amen.
I'm teaching tonight. Lack of verifiable evidence is the Muppets in the house. Why do we always come here? I guess we never know. It's kind of like a torture to have to watch a show. Despite many claims of reincarnation, there is no verifiable evidence that someone has lived a past life. Studies attempting to document reincarnation have failed to provide concrete evidence that could distinguish between genuine recollections of past lives and ordinary memory or imagination. I mean, this gun was loaded. It just sitting there. Like I know. They better not try.
Already.
They better. I mean, cultural influence. Belief in reincarnation are largely tied to specific religious and cultural contexts, particularly in Hinduism, Buddhism, and in some New Age beliefs. Darkest minds of the light sounds a bit New Agey to me. Would somebody say amen again? It's
yes,
time
Lord.
Man, foggy. The content of past life memories often align with the individual's cultural understanding and expectations, suggesting that these are culturally conditions rather than evidence of an actual past life. Now, we are seeing a trend here that these ideas are formed by your culture, and it's not innate to the human being. So it's not like we all breathe air, which would have made it essential and would have made it foundational and fundamental. There is no evidence compiled with everything else. Y'all need to stop playing with the pseudo killers. There's a method to our madness. Y'all upset because we educate in the community. Y'all can't bring the pseudoisms no more. They're starting to hit you with that as metaphysical. And there's no evidence to substantiate that Aristotelian nonsense. So everybody's shaking in the boots. You thought you were ready to come at us? We stay ready to look at the level of the quality of production. Stop it. Stop it. Stop. Like, just stop it. Stop. Leave. Don't call my name. Y'all ain't ready to deal with Gilligan's Island. Look, my tropical shirt. I'm hitting the coconut. I'm hitting the coconut.
This is Space Age Africans, aka Wakanda over here. So we don't know nothing about no Gilligan's Islands for real. Just to let it be known.
Stay ready. Y'all pseudos, super pseudos, sophisticated pseudos, and extra pseudos, all gonna get it. I told y'all end of last year I'm entering the debate. I'm just here to chop our heads off.
Shout out to the HOK, aka
Shout out to the Muppet Show.
Look at Kermit. Oh, that's Kermit right there.
Shout out to the circus.
Kermit the front. What you saying, Kermit? Y'all ain't ready. Y'all ain't ready. Look, a late night drive-by. Shot down dead. Everything you said counted while you were live in real time. Stop it.
No.
Leave me alone. But back to the subject.
Yeah. But for real, like, you know what I'm saying? No disrespect. It was all in love. But shout out to
man,
HOK.
Look here, man. Ain't no love, man.
No, because ain't nobody, you know,
ain't no
can
love,
do it like
man.
him. However, let me finish, please. However, there's some new kids on the block, right? And we just bringing something that's a little different. No worries, right? So yeah. But I'm really quick though, some housekeeping. There's someone in the back named Wisdom. I'm gonna need you to go ahead and camera up because we're not gonna play no stupid games. And if you can't camera up, I can't let you up.
It's a spy.
Yeah.
No, I was just saying it ain't no love, man. You know what I mean? Don't take the love for kindness because we definitely ain't feeling what y'all been putting out there lately. So but we gonna handle it, you know what I mean, the way we handle it. You know, but it's gonna be a great show. Cedric gonna do his thing on Saturday.
Compliance
that Saturday?
She got oh, okay.
Is that Saturday? I don't know what day that is.
When is the debate, Cedric? Get into it.
This Saturday, the 10th of May, 7 p.m. on the Paradigm Shift, Astrology and Astronomy. Were they ever once in the same? Come find out the reality. Come find out the truth. Come watch me put down this work. Take another pseudo out.
But it ain't no love. That's all I wanted to say.
There ain't no love. No, I'm taking heads.
Because they take, you know, they say they take that when we say that, man, and they really play with us with that. You know what I mean? So we got to stop showing love sometimes.
Listen, you know why I can do it the way I do it, Ken? With a smile on my face. Look how easy that was. I don't like that. Look how easy that was. It was in the chamber, lined up. My next series is gonna make them even hard. They're gonna cry even more, cause we gonna go into that Bible. First episode is fiction, fairy tale, or fables. We gonna put something on display for y'all. So that's another 5-part series. The pseudo killers ain't going nowhere. We going hard in 2025. Pretty soon, we're going to have a full lineup every night, bringing you a whole variety of shows. We serious about this.
Okay, real quick, though, before we do end and before I get the wisdom, give me a brief moment. This is a contribution to Pseudo Killer Official Chilimwe. So I just want to go through this really quick, all right? These are also some things that have been brought up out of body experience. So pardon me for the readership. He wanted me to start in the middle. However, is it okay to start in the middle? Would y'all get it? Y'all think y'all can comprehend it real quick? I'll give you an overview. It's a 43-year-old woman, and she suffers from complex partial seizures for the last 11 years. Right temporal lobe epilepsy was implicated. I'm gonna give y'all that much, okay? So this woman is not deceased. She's not unalived, all right? However, out-of-body experience was recorded in this instance, and scientists have a very good idea, because you don't speak in absolutes, where that starts. Right now, I think they're trying to figure out the mechanism of why it happens, though. And that was my overview of the article. So if I got that wrong, Chilimwe, let me know. But I'm going to start in the middle. So I hope this is the right middle. That looks like about the end. Yeah, I gave y'all that part. So it talks about the figure, which is the brain that you see, shows the results of stimulation mapping, and the electrolode side on the right angular gyrus were stimulated repeatedly, and it induced out of body experience, as well as a vestibular and complex um, somatosensory response. Mapping of motor, somatosensory, and auditory functions revealed no deviant brain pathology in this patient with respect to the anatomical um, representations of the cortical functions. The epileptic focus was located more than 5 centimeters anterior to the stimulation site. In the medial temporal lobe, electrical stimulation of this site did not induce out of body experiences. That's OBEs, by the way. And these experiences were not part of the patient's habitual seizures. Okay. So this is the patient that have seizures. They're giving her some type of electrical stimulation. Sometimes that electrical stimulation is a type of therapy, but this is an example. I'm skipping to further stimulations induced the same sensation, which included an instantaneous feeling of lightness and floating about 2 meters above the bed, close to the ceiling. The patient was then asked to watch her legs during this electrical stimulation. As before, she was lying down, upper body was supported at an angle of 45 degrees and legs were outstretched. This time, she reported seeing her legs becoming shorter. If the patient's legs were bent before the stimulation, 90-degree knee angle, she reported that her legs appeared to be moving quickly towards her face and took evasive action. When asked to look at her outstretched arms during the electrical stimulation, the patient felt as though her left arm was shortened. The right arm was unaffected. If both arms were in the same position but bent by 90 degrees at the elbows, she felt that her left lower arm and hand were moving towards her face. So they're trying to tell you the positioning of her body in the reality versus how this area of her brain with the stimulation was perceiving that. Okay.
Yes, in the final episode of the spirit, where I talk about out of body experiences and near death experiences, we talk about how they can stimulate out of body experiences with VI now, because they know exactly where in the brain your sense of direction and orientation in your body and to the environment, right? That is right where the temporal partial lobe and the forgive me if I get it wrong, and the frontal partial lobe. Where they intersect is that region that they can stimulate and manipulate to induce an out-of-body experience. So we have clinical understanding of how these experiences are induced. To claim otherwise of consciousness and all this woo stuff is unscientific, and we have empirical data that grounds this in naturalism and materialism. Just go back and watch those episodes. Everything that they're trying to sell you has been addressed, and I think that's why the pushback we see going on.
I will continue. These observations indicated that the out of body experiences and complex somatosensory illusions can be artificial, induced by electrical stimulation of the cortex. The association of these phenomena and their anatomically selective suggests that they have a common origin and body-related processing, an idea that is supported by the restriction of these visual experiences to the patient's own body. During her out-of-body experience, the patient only saw the part of her body that she also felt was modified during her body transformation experiences. This contrasts with the non-corporal visual hallucinations that are commonly induced by electrical stimulation at the parieto-temporal junction, as suggested by previous neurological investigations of out-of-body experience and other body cognition disorders. The angular gyrus could be a crucial node in a larger neural circuit that mediates complex own body perception. Out-of-body and body transformation experiences are transitory. It may disappear when a person attempts to inspect the illusory body or body part. Our findings suggest that the changes in visual attention and or current amplitude in the angular gyrus could bring about these phenomenological modifications. Although we do not fully understand the neurological mechanism that causes out-of-body experiences, our results imply that vestibular processing may be important, although transitional vestibular responses were evoked initially without out-of-body experience and can be produced in isolation. Vestibular sensations of levitation and lightness accompanied out-of-body experiences in our patient. Also, the core region of the human's vestibular cortex is situated close to the angular gyrus. Now, it is possible that the experience of disassociation of self form, the body is a result of failure to integrate complex somatosensory and vestibular information. The end. If you'd like me to share this source, I'll be happy to do so. But that's a fire source, actually. So, you can go through it, study it, get more familiar with the jargon, medical jargon, body part jargon, if you have not taken those classes. And one of my professor friends, Dr. Sadie McConnor, she actually teaches this. I was in her office the other day and she was like, she got to grade the test. And guess what? It was a test on body parts and things like that. And the brain is a little bit more complicated. So thank you for listening to that. But I definitely got it. I'll drop the source so you can review it. Kent, I'll go to Kent and then I'll go to Wisdom. Thank you for being here. You want to chime in anything?
No, go ahead. I'll come back in.
Wisdom, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. How are you?
I'm good. What's your name, Luke? I don't know you now. I can't really read the screen. Kind of small.
Good juju. Bad juju.
Juju. I'll call you Juju. And good juju. I wanted to say something to the brother. What was the brother name that was talking, that was giving the spiel about how he felt about the science stuff? Cedric. All right, Cedric. I want to ask you a question, man. And I don't want to assume anything, so I'm going to ask you a couple of questions first to make sure I don't assume, right? So it seems like your premise is that you don't believe in a soul. Is that correct?
I muted you, Cedric, because there's background noise,
Oh, sorry.
It's not my bad. I don't know who that is.
No. People are talking.
The ideas of a soul is metaphysical. If you study the history of where these ideas come from, you realize that people were trying to understand what is happening within the framework of their head. And these are just simply metaphysical ideas that were conceptualized. The idea of the soul is a concept created 300 CE by Aristotle. These ideas were further developed along the way, but it remained metaphysical, meaning it is not grounded in anything empirical. There is no evidence to support these ideas. As we continue to develop neuroscience, psychology, and things like psychiatry, has allowed us to understand how our minds work. Right, and there is no essence that is separate from the body. Right, so the concept of a soul is an idea created. It started back with animism, and it evolved over time, but it is not grounded in anything empirical.
So you're saying basically it's not physical. It can't be physically proven.
No.
No, I'm saying it's not real. I'm saying it's not real. It's an idea.
Yeah.
Right. I'm saying, yeah. Okay. I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt of it. All right. So, okay, when you say,
we trying to get you the benefit of the doubt. This is pseudo killer. I don't know if you get that. You probably walked into the Lions.
Yeah, he ain't never watched our show before.
Like, you want to lose a limb?
Yeah.
Hey,
he ain't never
I'm not necessarily. I'm not a pseudo though, so he ain't gonna be able to kill me because my soul gonna keep living anyway.
Oh, that's pseudo.
It ain't dead. It's still speaking. Okay, but anyway,
that's your brain, man. That ain't your soul. That's your brain speaking for you.
Okay, first of all, I just want to deal with the brother Cedric. You know what I mean? And I know you guys obviously believe how you feel 100%. You know what I mean? Don't seem like you guys even have a mid line to go on. One side or the other.
Evidence.
So I'm gonna talk to the brother Cedric right quick. Though, I just want to ask a couple questions though. Okay, so you're saying that the things that so-called exist or whatever is evident, like in our body, all that type of stuff, because and the science says that nothing is actually solid, and that everything is based on the invisible world, which dealing with the quantum physics. So I don't know if you're into science or not. Do you believe in science?
Are we gonna go to
What kind of question is that, man?
Not, oh, geez.
Nah, what you mean? What kind of question?
I'm just fucking with you.
I'm sorry, my brother. I'm sorry, my brother.
My bad. I was thinking out loud, bro. My bad. Forgive me.
I'm sorry, my brother. Yes,
it's okay.
I do understand. I am
your question.
I am part of a.
Fun.
We are. Pseudo Killers is a scientifically literate group that promotes scientific literacy, and we are versed science communicators in various topics. So yes, we understand quantum world. We understand as much as layman could understand quantum entanglement, and such we do. For example, we understand the four fundamental forces, and we understand how the weak and strong nuclear force work. So what we perceive and what people say, well, the table is made out of atoms, and atoms are 99% air, and the space between them. What about the force that is holding that all together is the reality of why you can't pass your hand through it. So yes, we understand.
Right. I guess my point is, I'm glad you thoroughly understand all that, so we don't have to go through any elementary stuff. You know what I mean? So that's my point, right? So if the soul is just a representation of the energy that moves the body.
Stop. That's an assertion. You're making an assertion. That's a presupposition for which you have no evidence, right? So you're just asserting that, and we can't have a discussion based on assertion. My assertion of the soul is a
too, right, sir? Because they don't know.
Wait, both of y'all. For real.
Yeah, you can't equivalate the soul with energy. But go ahead, Sid.
That's my point. So you're making assertions that are unsupported to establish a claim about something for which you have no evidence. How are we having this discussion based on what you think, believe, or feel?
Maybe you should ask me why am I making that assertion instead of assuming that.
You actually want to ask you where's your.
Hey, hello.
What did you do?
That's what made it keep the conversation going.
Yeah, we can hear you, Killer.
Oh, okay.
I don't want you to talk anymore because
peace and blessings. Peace and blessings.
We're dealing with a pseudo right now, man. You just cut all in.
I mean, my phone.
My bad, bro. We couldn't catch
you. A minute, let God Killer introduce himself, please.
What's going on, God Killer?
No, how y'all brothers and sisters doing? Peace and blessings in the marriage and the soul.
That's all you gonna say?
I know, right?
No, just peace and blessings, and may your soul travel with you through the afterlife.
All right.
You supposed to do your introduction, huh?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Man, shit, I said that the soul travel with you to the afterlife. Shit, what the fuck?
And nobody came back and told us that.
Don't leave it behind. Please don't leave it behind. Take it with you.
You know how I think about it? I think about it like, you feel me? For real, like we all gonna, be unalive. We're gonna be buried eventually. Them coffins, everything gonna disintegrate. We're gonna be dust, right? And then when the sun turn into a red giant and it possibly engulf
Kill
us,
everything.
then we're gonna be like incinerated. Then those dust particles gonna scatter out into the universe again. And gonna become a part of a dust cloud, right? Or like the planetary nebula, and it's gonna do the star formation stuff all over again. It's just a cycle. See?
And then ain't none of this stuff gonna matter. Like none of this is gonna matter ever.
Right.
Anymore.
And don't that sound better?
Nobody's gonna ever. Nobody's gonna look.
Asserted opinion,
Hey, bro,
and everybody has the right to have one.
Nobody's gonna.
Nobody knows, man.
Like verifiable
No. I
science.
wasn't gonna
Like
say that.
that's pretty much like, you can put that in the framework of what we know now. You feel me? Like we can't put nothing you say in the framework. Like soul, you can't put that in the framework of science.
Yeah, soul is religion, bro. Like it originated with religion.
Yeah, the problem is though, y'all really haven't given me a time to really say anything that where you could really disagree for real.
Right, we're gonna give you like 2-3 minutes uninterrupted.
Nah, that's too long, man. 3 minutes.
Yeah, give my
30
30
seconds. I just said don't really mean that.
seconds.
First of all, I just want to make sure that I understand what the brother's talking
Get to
about.
it.
First
You got
before I
2
even-
minutes. I'm
See what
trying to
I'm
handle
saying?
the panel. They like rabid dogs. Come on, let's go.
Hey, Jude, but I did want to add on to what you were saying, yo.
Not me anytime, man. Go ahead.
Nobody's
Go
gonna
ahead.
ever know that.
Don't chicken out.
Nobody's gonna
Okay,
ever know that there was
talk.
life on planet Earth, man.
What you say?
And like a billion years, nobody's gonna ever know that there was life on planet Earth. None of this is gonna matter.
No.
But my bad. Go ahead, Wisdom.
Man.
Got it. 2 minutes, Wisdom. Go.
Okay. All right. So the soul thing, right? Okay. Let me just try to get to the point of what I think, right? So then you just let me know if you disagree or not. I'll opinionate because we never know. That's all I'm saying, right? Okay. Cool.
So you're Muslim? You're Muslim.
Quiet, Bobby. Don't cut it
Hold on,
out.
I'm saying before he say it, I just want to hear what is his religious beliefs. That's all.
He gonna
That
tell
way I can
us.
understand.
I don't have any religious beliefs.
Hold on, I couldn't hear you say what, brother.
I don't have any religious beliefs.
So then why talk about the soul? I rest my case, yo. Go ahead, brother.
What that has to do with religion? So
because that's where it came out religion.
I know
It came
that's
out
what the
religion,
brother
that's
was
all.
saying or whatever, but okay, let's just get to it, man. You know what I'm saying? Please, just say what I got to say. I don't care if y'all believe what y'all believe or not. Like you just said, we all gonna live, we all gonna die. What you believe? It don't matter to me. Shit, you know what I mean? What the fuck?
What you believe?
Okay. I was just trying to explain it. Whenever you let me, okay, I was trying to talk to Sid.
My bad, bro. My bad. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So as far as what I understand, if I was to believe in the definitions or whatever that they give for these for this concept and all that, they call the soul the immaterial part of a person. Okay. And so like Mr. Cedric was saying, when you say metaphysics, that's above the physical. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that that's dealing with something that's not tangible, it's immaterial, it's intangible. Okay, we understand that. But that does not mean it doesn't have a function and that it don't exist. You know what I mean? Just because it can't be proven in a tangible way, as far as like in a scientific theory or research or whatever, that does not mean it's not there. It just means they just can't prove it at this time. So in the future, maybe it can be proven or whatnot, but that does not automatically mean it's not real. Okay. So now they explain it as an immaterial part of a person. So they're saying it is.
What about the cultures that don't have that though, bro? How about that? Where's your respect for that though? You heard me though, right?
Cultures.
Yeah, it's a cultural thing. That's all. Go ahead.
Listen. All cultures have certain ways to think about things and look at things. But just because a different culture doesn't speak about it does not mean that it's not valid. They just chose not to speak of it in their culture. You know what I mean? And then, however,
are you sure? Maybe they just don't have a word for it though. Maybe they don't have a word for it, right?
Listen, I was just about to go there. My name ain't Wisdom for nothing, so I don't know. You might be smarter than me.
I'm saying, what I'm saying, let's just conversate. You don't gotta give us you over your 30 seconds, though.
Yeah,
we talking. I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you. No, I'm just making a point.
30 seconds.
Yeah, that's all. I can't sit there and listen to that like that.
All
So
right, go ahead.
I just rather just have a conversation with you. So wait a minute. I asked a distinct. Hold on. I asked a distinct question. I said, "Are you religious?" And you said
And I
no.
said
So
no.
do you believe in God?
I believe that there is something. Okay, let me fall back, man. Because like my question, my answers are not going to be regular. Okay, so
No,
I'm trying to.
no.
We
It's
want to hear
not.
your answer though. We do
Come
want
on,
to hear
Ken.
your answer.
Don't jump in, yo. I'm
Tell them
just
we
trying
want
to
to hear
talk.
Okay,
your answer, man.
okay. When you say God, okay,
I mean,
God is
whatever
just.
you mean. Whatever you mean. Whatever you mean.
You said you asked me a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so when you say God, to me, I think about it as a placeholder, right? Something is like
Correct.
unknown. They don't
Okay.
know what it actually is, so they just call it God, and people just generally just call it a God or whatever. But what people are actually saying is that something created something to do something. So there's some kind of way we all here, some kind of way this all happened, you know what I mean? And so they just, for lack of a better word, they just say God because they don't know, right? So that's why they say God. So if
You
people
mean
use
different? Hold on. I heard you. You mean different cultures, or just what? The Muslim culture, Christian culture, Jewish cultures. What you mean? Because all cultures don't even have God. Some
right,
venerate the ancestors. Some venerate
so
the natural elements.
yes,
What about are you discounting those cultures too? The ones that don't have gods and just venerate the
no,
natural world.
no,
You just chose the cultures that accept the God. Okay, just trying to really
God,
figure out where you're coming from, bro.
God represents the natural world and everything in it. Like
No. You just said it. No, you said it's a placeholder.
Said again,
We know what the natural world is. You said God is a placeholder for the unknown. There's a lot of things
right?
we understand about the natural world, so you would need a
The
placeholder
unknown
for
as
the
far
natural
as like
world.
how things come into existence. But the thing about it is, when you think about
Nah, you
as
just double talk. You know what I'm saying? You just switch it right in front of our
listen,
face. That's all.
I
No,
ain't
you
double talking.
said no.
If you
You went
listen to
from
me long enough, I
placeholder.
might make
Now
sense
you
to
went
you,
from a
man.
placeholder to a God is something
I'm trying
to
to answer
explain
your
how
question
things
and then
came into the world.
elaborate. But say it again. My bad.
No, listen. You said God was a word for a placeholder. That's what you
Right.
said for the
The mean
unknown.
unknown.
For the
Right.
unknown. Hold on. And let's say, but wait a minute. The natural world is known.
I was still
There's this
going.
thing.
Now finish the rest
Let me
of
finish.
it.
There's just things we don't
Finish the rest of
understand
the thought,
about it.
sir. Don't
And
cut it off
then
right
you
now.
switch.
That means you couldn't listen.
Hold on, bro. And then you
Okay.
switched it to
I
things
don't know why
coming
you're
into being.
elaborating on a half
I'm
sentence
not
though. That's what
illiterate.
I'm saying.
I'm saying
You're
you're
acting
not.
like you're paraphrasing
No,
me, but you're not.
I'm saying you're incoherent. Let's
No,
have a
you're
coherent
incoherent because
conversation.
you're paraphrasing something I didn't say all the way.
No, I'm not afraid. Okay, what did I not say?
I did not say you was afraid, sir. You're showing you are incoherent. You know when you know the smartest person know how to listen.
Not to this bullshit. How about that? Let me just say what I really want to say. When I listen to the bullshit. Now give us something coherent to make some
What
damn
bullshit?
sense.
What
And
did
not your
I say
religion.
that was
How
bullshit
about
yet?
that? How about giving us
Explain
something that's
what
not
part
based
was
in your
bullshit.
religion, what you believe? How about giving
I
us something that you
can't
do
tell you nothing I
understand?
said that
How
was
about doing
bullshit,
that?
but I ain't said
How
shit yet.
about doing something that you understand? How about that? Can we get that from you? Can we all leave our beliefs on
You
the
might
table?
break it up.
Give
You
us
might
something you
break it
do
up, man.
understand.
You might
How
break
about that, brother? This ain't got
your
nothing to do
mic
with the
is
smartest
breaking up,
person
sir.
in the goddamn room. It's got a lot to do with fucking ignorance, bro. You ever thought about that? You ever thought about you popped up on
I
the
think
damn
somebody would
show,
explain to him
popping your
that
damn
nobody can
gums,
hear him.
yo? You talking about listening? I ain't got to listen to that bullshit. I'm giving you an opportunity. How about that? Damn, dog.
I thought I was
See,
just coming on
motherfuckers
just to
stick
talk
with the
about what's
dumbass
going
shit you
on.
saying.
Hey,
You ain't saying them high
I don't mean to
quality.
offend you, man.
You're not saying them high
I don't know
quality,
why you
bro.
sound so
You're not
offended,
really
man.
talking high quality, bro. You're not talking high quality. Wherever the fuck you go at,
You're in the pseudo killers.
Oh man,
Your microphone breaking up.
touch yourself into the matrix.
You understand what you're saying,
right?
man?
He'd be the first nigga to tell you, nigga, I ain't said I was smart. I'm saying is you talk about placeholders, shit coming to being. I don't believe in God. Do let me hold. Yo, get out of here with that flim flammy. Can we get something coherent from you, brother? And maybe you get longer to talk. How about that? I rest my case.
We listening, brother.
Okay. So he asked me a question and get mad at my answer. So I'm asking your question again
You
with my
didn't give me
answer,
no
sir.
fucking answer, bro.
So
It's gonna go coherent.
you ask again, God, what it mean to me? It's more. I should say first that it's more than one way I look at it. So that was one way I'm explaining it to you, right? Because we don't know what the fuck it is, first of all, right?
So why talk about it then? Why talk about
you
something you know what the fuck it is? You ever thought about that?
Listen,
you ever had a thought to say, why would I talk about something I don't know what it is? How are you able to talk about something you don't know what it is? Why don't you just hum it or some shit?
Good question. That's a good question, bro.
Just say hum. I don't know what it is. How about that, bro?
Good question.
See, now you start to see you're not even making coherent sense. See,
your scientists talk about stuff that they don't know what it is.
No, okay, now it's your scientists. See, your scientists. Hey, yo, you mean white people? Are you talking about white people? Hold on. Are you talking about white people? Are you talking about white people?
Even though they don't 100%.
Now we got it, man. Y'all put him in the back, and now we know he's an incoherent pseudo. We know that.
I don't understand, but I thought you said we were gonna try to have a conversation.
No, we're not. I changed my mind based off your incoherency, based off of my scientists that I ain't met yet. I don't know who my scientists.
And I came to talk to Cedric. I ain't been able to talk to you.
When you copyright that sign?
I don't know. It's our scientists. I don't know the hell he talking about.
That? I ain't know we own that.
Yeah, my fault, bro. My scientists. I don't know.
Somebody should have been told.
We gotta get our publishing off of that sign.
Right.
So these are that kind of channel where people can come up and ask real questions and talk.
Man, do your thing, bro. We listening,
man.
Man.
A real question to me, yo. I think you're trying to clown us.
I don't think you paying attention to what's going on, bro. You saying you listening, but you don't hear this.
No, I said I never. Hold on, I never said I was listening. I never said I was listening to you. I tricked you. I'm trick you like you trying to trick us.
Hey, I didn't even know you was there until you started talking.
Yeah, well, now you know. Yeah. I'm not
He's
asking
always
you.
here.
Who is this guy?
Always here. Come on.
That's the boss.
I was focusing on this man that I was trying to talk to.
Expect him to always be here. So never come on this show thinking you ain't got to tussle with the God killer. Don't ever expect that.
But he double talked me. I just asked him for a coherent statement. You don't have it. So why? If I just be quiet, yo, watch it. Hey, look, if everybody just be quiet, let's see how far you get with your explanation.
Do you know life is a paradox, man? Do you know that? Do you know what paradox means?
Define it for us.
I'm just letting you talk, bro. Go for it.
What it mean, bro?
I don't even know.
Man, listen. Come on, bro. Nah, don't look it up now, nigga.
I've been quiet for 10 minutes. Let's go.
Yo, that's crazy. What does paradox mean, man?
Put it up.
So let's go back. Let's go back to the
read the definition, smart guy.
Did you watch the presentation I did? And I continue to say I need it says it here on my shirt. I need evidence. So when you talk about something, you need to provide me with evidence. So when you say they, who are the they that you're talking about?
Okay, bro, when did I say they, and then what?
Man, you said our science. You said our scientists. Who the hell is the our? Who you talking about?
I was referring to y'all scientists, man.
Okay, who?
Y'all
so you saying we got science?
I'm talking about science. Okay, listen to me, man. Listen, man. I don't know if y'all really trying to have a real conversation or not. I just really don't.
No, I ain't really trying to have a conversation. I won't be like you. I want to have the fun that y'all have all the time.
Trying to figure out what paradox mean. Nah, don't take it down. Take it down, Drew. We still trying to figure out what paradox mean, brother. Look, he about to read.
Go ahead, read it. Let him read it.
I'm telling y'all to read it.
No, you read it. We know what it is.
Let me make the screen big, man. Hold on. I told you I could barely see.
I ain't never heard a brother ask if you knew what the word mean, and he ain't know what the word mean. That's different.
Yeah.
I do know what the word means, and it's going to explain. How you say I'm double talking. I'm not double talking. Everything's a paradox. Okay, listen. It's a paradox is a statement or situation that appears self-contradictory or illogical, yet can be true. It often involves contradictory elements that exist together and may even persist over time. Paradoxes can be used in rhetoric, philosophy, and even science to explore complex ideas or reveal the limitations of our understanding. So I'm not speaking in no double talk. It's paradox. Life is paradox. Yes, things can seem illogical, yet it can still be true. Yes, listen. Okay, all right. Now, so we know what that means. So I was trying to explain to him that it's not double talk. I was really trying to get him, listen, man, not double talk. I got different ways I'm trying to explain this to you. It's multi-layered. Okay, yes. One part of it is the unknown because nobody actually knows, and that's just a fact. Everybody knows that they're born, and we just keep being born, and we just exist one day. You know what I mean? We know that. We don't remember exactly when we was born and when we came out of our mother's womb, but at a certain point in time, we gain consciousness enough to be able to remember, maybe like 2 or 3 or whatever the case. That's when we gain consciousness to actually be aware of our surroundings. But even though we was aware, even when we was born from the womb, even though we can't act on those ideas, we can't. It's still not memory bank in our prefrontal cortex to where we can recall information. It's not subconscious mind, right? Then the subconscious mind is something that operates outside the brain. The brain operates with consciousness. You know what I mean? And consciousness is when you conscious of what's going on as aware. You know what I mean? But at the same time, information is okay. Listen to me. Okay, everything. First of all, let's get to the basics. That's what I'm trying to get to from the beginning.
Ain't nobody saying that.
Absolutely not wrong. What part did I say wrong, Miss? Did you disagree with?
I said, why should we absolutely listen to this crazy ass shit right now? I'm not sitting there listening to this crazy.
I ain't never heard nobody say
enough, yo.
I ain't never heard nobody say listen to me where everybody was already listening.
Yeah, everybody quiet.
No, I heard people saying wrong and stuff, brother. You know, brother Kent. I had a respect when people talking.
It was wrong. Okay, go
exactly.
ahead.
So I was asking the sister, why did she think so before I continue to go? If y'all was with me, then I would
You have a brain.
You don't even understand what you're saying.
You gotta have a brain.
Exactly
But you don't have a brain, you don't have consciousness.
You don't know
science, King. Spit your science, King.
Okay, so like I was talking about, you know what I mean? You have a consciousness, and then you have something called conscience. It's 2 different things.
Conscience.
Okay.
Conscience.
Yes. We ain't gonna let you con us. How about that?
Conscience, right? Most people not familiar with the word conscience.
What that mean? Hey, Drew, look that up real quick. What conscience mean? Look that up real quick. Drew, what conscience mean? We ain't heard that one, dog. You got something on us right there.
Right, gonna be dealing with
what that mean?
Yes, us.
Is that in the dictionary?
Yes, us. Conscience.
Y'all be too busy trying to clown, man. You know what I mean? I ain't come here to play with y'all. I thought y'all were serious people, man.
I ain't never heard this word before.
Please put it up, brother. Y'all like the brother said, evidence, like that word, like the paragraph word. I can't recall everything that
okay, hold on. It's a real word. Hold on. It's a real. No, that's not.
I'm saying it because I know I've been through it, so I wouldn't be saying it if I knew it wasn't valid, man. So yes, please look it up. Because I don't want to keep talking. I want to talk over anybody's head, man. I don't.
Do you mean conscience?
No, ma'am. I mean, no, that's one part, right? Conscious is a part of the consciousness, right? And people get consciousness conflicted with conscience. No. So what do you mean, brother?
We don't know what you're talking about. You got to tell us.
You know what I'm talking about, Miss. Trust me.
No, you tell me. Tell me what it means. Tell me what it means, bro. No, tell me what it means.
You gotta listen.
Tell me what it means, dog.
So you gotta.
Hey, Drew, let him talk. Drew, let him talk. Go ahead. What it mean?
Please go ahead and read it, man.
Nah, I ain't reading nothing.
Don't patronize me, man. Don't do that,
I ain't
man.
patronize nothing.
I told you already. It's dealing with the mind and stuff like that, brother. Go ahead and read it, man.
We letting you spit your science, King. Go ahead. What kind of science is?
Bro, I just told you again for the 3rd time. I tell you, I'm gonna have to paraphrase. It ain't gonna do nobody no good. It's dealing with the mind and stuff like that. So just go ahead and read it verbatim, man. Because I'm trying to show, so we can go to the consciousness. So I can read it, we can get somewhere, man. Like, what are we doing here? People I read, they're gonna talk crazy. No, man, I ain't talking crazy. Okay, I gotta put it on myself. I guess I had to put it on myself. I know you right there looking at it, big dog. Like you put on the other one. Okay,
I'm looking at the word conscious, bro.
Yeah.
So you're not looking up conscience. Okay, cool.
I ain't seeing that. That's in your dictionary.
You don't know how to spell it or something? You want me to spell it for you?
Yeah,
no, we don't know how to spell it for.
But okay. Man, all right.
I ain't trying to play with you. I'm letting you speak, man. Go ahead and do your thing, man.
Okay, the thing about it is, man, I was really just trying to explain. But see, no. Y'all got me messed up. Let me go ahead and put it on. They say he is confused and conscious. No, I'm not.
Understand what conscience.
All right.
Stay out.
I guess it's the word you mean, right? An inner feeling or voice viewed as acting as a guide to the righteous, rightness or wrongness of one's behavior.
Is that consciousness or
what is that? That's consciousness, right? So read again, fellas, please. we're talking.
Can you put that up on the screen, please, Kent? I need to see
Man,
that.
you gonna have to do that. I got my phone, man. I ain't even. I don't
Oh
even.
my God. Okay.
Damn,
Got you. I mean, you're on a computer. I don't know why you
like,
can't do it.
Yeah, I actually can, but I had to make the screen big so I could see it. Cause it'd be showing like him in the background. You know where it'd be in the background.
I think he messing up. I think he messing up the word, man.
I ain't messing it up, brother. It's con and words and signs. I thought you just had to pull it up, man.
Nobody has that word pulled up, sir.
That's conscious, man. Hold on, man.
Y'all tripping, man.
There you go. Read it to us. Explain it to us. There you go. Can you see it?
All right. There we go. Yes, ma'am. I can see it. All right. It's a consign.
Hey, how you pronounce that word, bro?
I say consigns. So
look at the pronunciation. Look at the word.
I could be saying it wrong.
Hold on. Now you are looking in the thing up under the word, and it tell you how to pronounce that.
Lord have mercy.
I can't see it. I really can't see it that good. I gotta make the same business.
It's conscience.
All right, conscience. Okay,
conscience.
Cool. Thanks.
Good word for consciousness, not conscience.
We're gonna take this out the show, man. We ain't gonna do it like
I would try to say it so that y'all actually understand how to say it.
So we said it for you, and you told us we was wrong.
No, I did not say you was wrong by anything.
Yes, you said consciousness.
I'm agreeing right now with the way you said it. Okay, cool. But
conscience is the root word of consciousness. But go ahead.
No, it's not the same thing. Okay, conscious. All right.
Who is cussing? Who cussing? Who cussing?
No, he said.
What he say?
I did not.
He said cussing.
He said
cussing. Ain't no cussing.
We talking about conscience.
Ain't no cussing. Hey, bro, ain't no. Hey, bro, we not cussing up here, man.
I did not curse her.
You did, man. You said cussings. You cursed all of them. We're not gonna do that, brother. We're not gonna bear that, bro. Like we cool. We on YouTube, yo, and I can't believe you cussing us, man. Don't cussing us. Don't cussing me out, man.
All right, cussing is the inner feeling or voice you that's acting as a guide to rightness or wrongness of what
is that time, Kent.
Hey, man.
Right? So everybody,
we got the alert. We ain't got the pseudo alert.
Where is the alert at? We got the alert.
At the bottom,
on, man?
Miss Tiff, email the alert. I got it from Miss Tiff. Miss Tiff, email the alert.
Yeah, give us the alert, Tip. We need that.
So that's
it right now.
Right now.
Email it, Juju. This is a pseudo.
I need this pseudo alert right now. I need that email.
I ain't even want to do you like that, King. You know what I'm saying? I'll try to let you spit, twin. I'll try to let you get your thing off.
Everything I'm saying coming up to be true. So y'all ain't doing nothing to me. Oh, y'all just sound like y'all just clowning and joking. That's all it sound like to me. Sound like y'all just like
we are.
You gotta laugh to keep it.
Hey, I like to laugh too. Shit. Hey, it's all good. I ain't doing no tripping for real. I know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? It's all good.
I never heard of concept.
All I know is the soul is the immaterial part of a person. Yeah, that's what I do know.
You ain't feeling you a pseudo.
Yeah, I hear you, but y'all ain't killed nobody.
Oh man,
nobody.
Yeah, you right about that. You ain't lying about that though.
Not for real.
You got us.
You got us. You got us, bro. You got us.
You got us with a cold science, brother. The calm science did it.
Science, yo. Is that a word, yo? Is that a word?
No, it's not.
Was it a word?
Hey, you made the word up. It used to take a while for it to get into the dictionary. How many years do you think it takes to get into the dictionary?
That's in the Urban Dictionary. They got to be in the Urban Dictionary.
It's in the Urban.
I give you that.
Urban Dictionary.
The Urban Dictionary. You were smoking on something. You were smoking on something when you looked that up.
Y'all ain't even know what the word was.
Yeah, I ain't know that. I ain't gonna lie to you, yo. The con science, yo. You got
me.
Dictionary like
psychology, like the things that y'all doing, they're just showing that y'all really don't know a lot. That's why y'all laughing.
You right. Yeah, you right, yo. Hey, I'm not embarrassed.
I don't know nothing about con science.
That's exactly why.
Nothing about con science. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, you got me. You right. I agree with you, bro.
Oh man.
I ain't hear you.
Got
I'm trying to get to the soul part with you and all that. The dude made all that come up. You know what I mean? I
made all that.
Ain't nobody
I was playing with
you. While you saying yet, brother. That what the brother name with them doing all the reading stuff.
Well,
that's his name.
Oh, me?
No, Cedric.
Cedric going on. Yeah, you know what I mean? I don't think you want to be challenged. That's what it sounds like to me, because all these boys, they deflect.
Hey, what you over there sipping on? Hey, tell it you, what you over there sipping on?
I'm trying to have a real intellectual fight. I ain't heard y'all say nothing.
Hey, what you sipping on, though? All right, man. I ain't gonna kiki and ha. What you sipping on?
Get out of here.
We ain't never heard nobody come up and say that, though.
Hey, Juju, you should got it off. You should have it already.
Yeah, we got clipped. Hey, Drew, they gotta go in the clips on the channel. They going in the clips.
That was me. That was me, bro. Hey, that was me, bro. That was me. Give me a favor.
You don't even know what God is.
Hold on. You right. Give me, do me a favor. Ask this question, bro. Ask this question, bro.
Don't even know how you get here. They don't know nothing about how life gets created.
Hey, bro, what you
don't know about the immaterial point of view called life. They don't know how it happens. They don't know.
Hey, what you sipping on, bro? What you sipping on?
They call what they calling the Big Bang is your daddy banging your mama, and bang, the sperm hit the egg.
All right, okay, all right, you done, nigga. You're
That's
done.
what happened.
Yeah, you're done.
It wasn't
You don't even know that much.
Get him off here. Get him out of there.
Nah, but
Get him out.
but you know that.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a UAP alert. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a UAP. Be on the lookout for wisdom. He's a UAP. Be on the lookout for wisdom.
Get him out.
It's a UAP alert. It's a UAP alert.
Oh yeah, I got something for you though.
You don't, bro. Hey, yo, what you drinking though? What you sipping on over there? Yo, I know you heard me 10 times. What you sipping on?
The thing about it is though,
what you sipping?
Like to be for real.
Like, now what you sipping? What you sipping on? Now what you sipping on? What you sipping on? Bro?
I'm not sipping on anything. I would love to be sipping on something. I ain't got no motherfucking drink.
What you ran out? I'm sipping on a pseudo. I'm sipping on a pseudo.
Well, you ain't sipping on that. Well, you got a drink. You got a drink, man. Sip ain't gonna get it. You can't tell.
Pseudo drink, man.
Ain't shook nothing. Boy, you ain't ruffled no feathers at all. Period, chump.
And you know, hey, black people do know how to talk trash. Look at you.
Oh,
man. You know how to talk trash.
That's what you want, man. I'm bad to the bone for real on any level.
Nah, come on, man. What level you talking about? Hold on, what level you talking about?
I bet you run out of more information before I do about anything.
Now, I ran out. You right. You got me beat. You got me beat. I ran out already. You got me on a paradox consign.
Literally. You ain't gonna reverse psychology to me. I know you mean. I know you're telling the truth.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, seriously, I ran out. For consigns, I ain't know what the hell you talking about. The consigns.
Exactly, I know you did.
You got me. Yeah,
I know you did. You a scientific man. Well, I'll be damned.
Nah, not no more.
You used to be. Well, y'all
took me over your side.
I got you switch sides already. Why?
You got me switch sides.
Nah, they ain't over with you. It ain't over.
That's what you said. Y'all heard him, huh? But he said he the pseudo killer. I'm killing pseudo tonight.
Yeah, you sure is.
That's you, Jack. That's you, Jack. You can't understand. You just switch sides, boy.
Yeah, you got me.
That means what you think you did pseudos, huh?
Yeah, you got me. What you want to say?
You got me. A paradox, man, my man. You don't even know things.
No, hold on. You didn't know what paradox is.
You think that you can be true. You don't even know that.
Come on now.
You don't even know what paradox. All that to your philosophy
and wisdom.
You missed all kind of lessons. You don't even know it.
Wisdom. But you didn't know what paradox meant, bro.
Why I brought it up? I told that brother it's going to explain.
Thank you for joining us. We appreciate your support. Like, share, and subscribe to the Pseudo Killers and community of skeptics. Thank you.
Public service announcement.
Yeah, the inner feeling, the consigns, the inner feeling. Yo, you crazy as what? Crazy as shit, man.
Hey, man.
I said the con sign.
I ain't been wrong.
And got the pronunciation right there up under it, like it ain't. Come on.
I ain't been wrong yet.
You ain't pronounced it.
You want to cue in on that part of
dictionary he used.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
You want to cue? One thing you need to pay attention to. You say, "Hey, brother, you ain't saying it right," and you say it like this. So say, "Cool, no problem."
Hey, yo, I didn't even know. I didn't know what the hell you were saying.
So
you saying the con sign, so I didn't know what the hell you was talking about.
Right now, about the pronunciation is really immaterial.
No, I didn't understand what you were saying. I'm telling you, bro. When you said that, you said the con. All I heard was you're conning us through something.
That really don't matter, right?
It do matter.
It really come down to it.
No, when it really come down to it, when it really come down to it. Now, you know I'm not gonna be yelling no more. No, I didn't understand the word. Yo, whether I knew the word meant or not, you said it to the point where you had no idea what the hell you was talking about. No matter what you say, listen, no matter what you say, the way you pronounce it,
you ain't gonna be able to go with it. You ain't smart enough.
Know what
through everybody.
Not smart enough, sir.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, yo. Hey, look, when I looked at it, it had me looking at it different. I was looking at it like he was saying it. I was like, hold on a minute.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck you was talking about. I don't care what that nigga said. The con signs. I was like, what?
Hey, hold on. Hey, bro. Hey, when I looked at it and heard his voice say con sign.
Yeah, I thought Juju wants to floor. Juju wants to floor, guys.
Oh man.
So the problem with you trying to say somebody know the words, we asked you to bring up that word. Clearly you're on a phone or a laptop. You could have brung it up, right? You didn't know how to pronounce it. Therefore, we didn't know what the hell you was talking about. None of us knew what the hell you was talking about. We tried to correct you and tell you it was consciousness. You know, I ain't think to say conscience, but consciousness is the word. You gotta let me finish. What you're not gonna do is talk over me. That ain't gonna work out for you, or you gonna meet bad juju for real. So conscience is the root word for consciousness, right? So you don't know how to pronounce it. You don't know how to spell it. So
he ain't even talking about that. He talking about.
I mean, it's okay. I figured it out, but bro, that's why we asked you to search that up, so we wouldn't have no miscommunication. So you want to blame us for your miscommunication.
I agree with that though. I was like, yeah, you're right. You know what I mean? But the thing about it is, though, miss, for real though, like consciousness, the conscious and consciousness. They are two different things, miss. It's not the same thing. Like you look up what consciousness is, it's not going to be the same definition.
Conscious is the root word because consciousness is the state of the conscious. Come on, bro. Don't play them games.
We ain't about to do that tonight.
I'm not trying to
all night.
I'm just really trying to. So you won't be, because obviously you haven't looked up the words and compared them. So I'm trying to save you from that. It's not the same.
Because we've been talking about it. We know what they mean. We need to look up.
Conscience and consciousness is not the same, miss.
Nobody said they were. Something being a root word or something doesn't mean it's the same, buddy. Look, so wait. No. I need you to tell me what 12 times 12 is.
What? 144? What the fuck?
Oh, good. So you graduated from high school? You're the first who actually got that like that, though. So you graduated from high school?
Come on. Are you serious?
You graduated from high school?
And I took a little bit
don't do them like that. Don't do like that.
Look. I'm doing the litmus test. We've been
and I took a little bit of college, too. I mean, come on. Like, come on. Let's be serious, though. What? Y'all acting like y'all
saying something like that. Learn your words. Learn your words. Don't tell me what I don't know. That's all I'm saying. Learn your words.
I'm willing to learn anytime.
I didn't ask it. It's conscious, the root word of consciousness.
I was saying that part is immaterial. And I told you I understand the word for him. And I said it's con and put the word signs on the ends. What I told
That's not, but con, no.
Hey, but that's you do hey, bro, hey, wisdom, but you do agree that it's
but it doesn't sound like it.
Hey, wisdom, but you do believe that the word
you don't know that word is said con.
Brother wisdom.
Go ahead.
Brother wisdom.
I guess you're not really trying to understand what I'm telling you. But
brother wisdom. Brother wisdom, you do agree that the word is conscience, though, right?
No crybabies over here.
Yes.
At the end of the day, you believe that the word is we can all agree that the word is conscience.
But no, really, to be honest with you, it's not. Okay,
I mean, hold on. We just looked up the word. Hold on. One quick thing.
Please, let me just ask you this real quick. You'll understand what I'm saying.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Okay, when you CON, right? CIOUS. What is that spell? What does that spell?
Conscious. Right? That ain't the word you talking about, nigga. I know what you're saying. I know what word you're saying.
On, man. Chill for a second, man. For
Conscious.
real. I really need to get him to understand why I said it. Why I said it, sir.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Because
Conscious. Go ahead.
you were just saying what I was calling, what I was trying to break down so you could understand how to put it in and not put it in conscious, as we all know. Like what I just
I didn't put it in conscious, as we all know. I put in conscious.
Listen, brother, I know. Listen to me, man. Listen, I'm not trying to get no aha moment.
No, we good. No, we good. Go ahead. I'm listening. You muted. Hold on, you muted. Go ahead.
I think you telling me, right?
Thank you.
That
I'm gonna finish. I was muted. It says ask him to explain the difference between conscience, and consciousness. You may have the floor.
Hey, Nick, did you look at what I said?
That's what I'm trying to say right there.
This is what he's trying to say right here, yo. Did you see that, Kent?
Yeah, he's been wrong 3 times already.
No, look at that, Kent. Do y'all see what he's trying to say?
I know what the word conscience is, man.
Nah, that ain't conscious, man. He ain't saying conscious. He ain't saying that. You just can't understand what the fuck he's saying. He talking about the inner voice, bro. He on that.
Let me put my screen up.
You talking about that? Are you talking about the inner voice? Hold on. Are you talking about the inner voice, yo?
Man, so I ain't gotta go through riffraff. I can just pull my shit up.
Consciousness, conscientious. Come on, man. Like
okay.
The word.
Right, man. I'm doing it because you told me I done my silly ass. I should have been did it, and I was like, damn, she right. Why the fuck I ain't just put my own?
Exactly.
The word is pronounced.
Conscience.
I do listen.
Hey, bro. Hey, wisdom. Hey, wisdom. Hey, wisdom.
Yes.
We just got to get this past this point. The word is pronounced conscience.
Just right, bro. We've had that point already.
Okay,
and the word that I spelled out to you is the same too, and even though it's spelled different. So how would you differentiate the difference? If I don't spell it the way I spelled it for you, or said it the way I said it for you, how would you know I was telling you?
Why did you say it like that though?
I said it like that so you could spell it like that and pull it up like that.
But you could have just said conscience. But you could have just said conscience.
When you say conscience, they talking about the CONCI. Cool, brother.
You saying the
ladies and gentlemen, it's a UAP.
US. You talking about that, right?
Ladies and gentlemen.
Nah, he ain't talking about that.
Hey, Ken.
You asked me a question, but I couldn't hear you, man.
No. You're saying you're talking about the conscious, the CONSCIOUS, conscious, like consciousness. But you're not talking about that. You're talking about the CONSCIENCE. I kept saying the inner voice. That's what you're saying, right?
That's what I'm talking about, right?
Right, yo. You just ain't saying right, yo. I couldn't understand you. That's why I say the inner voice.
But listen to what I'm saying.
Did you hear me say the inner voice? Did you hear me say that though?
Huh? Yeah. That's what the definition was saying. That's what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to have remember, y'all, I was trying to have a conversation with the brother said about the soul and stuff like that. And I'm trying to explain to him how soul it is something that actually do exist, and even though it's immaterial. So that's kind of one of the ways I was trying to lead into the conversation with him to explain that part. When you're talking about consciousness, I know you believe in consciousness and stuff like that. So I was trying to lead him into what I was saying about the soul, because all that's a part like the soul. That's what y'all want to let me get my stuff out long enough to let me build it. Where I'm trying to go with this brother, so you understand what I'm actually saying. You know what I mean? But you know, I'm just trying to pull out at one time, because ever since I started talking, somebody else talking, but then I'm not even talking to even before when I jumped on the panel. So I'm trying to hurry up the speed through what I'm trying to say.
Don't have a stroke, man. Go ahead and say what you're trying to say, bro. Go ahead and say what you're trying to say to Cedric. Go ahead and say what your question was to Cedric.
So that's what I'm saying, man. Because we was talking about soul, and then he said, he was like, no, man, you can't use the word soul because I don't have any proof of soul and all this type of stuff. You know what I mean? So it's really invalid to even talk about. That's how he stopped me from the beginning when I was even trying to have a conversation with him. So I was like, okay, before I can get to the next point, I had to at least let him know how I'm coming up with the idea of a soul being real or something like that, with some type of empirical evidence that he agrees with. Which I know he agrees with conscience and all this type of stuff. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to go the back way in order to get the loan to the where I'm trying to route, where I'm really trying to go. Because I didn't know he was going to stop me on an opinion I'm trying to give him. You know what I mean? Based on facts that I think I understand, but it's still all based on opinion because no one actually knows how everything was created anyway, no matter what it is, no matter from the atoms, the neutrons, electrons, and any other things that they're talking about, all the subatomic particles and all of that, which all boils down and gets into the quantum physics, which is immaterial, which is not proven, but they know it exists. This is like you can't prove, you can't see heat, you can't measure heat. You can measure it or whatever the case, but you can't see it or whatever. So it's still an immaterial thing that we know is actually a thing, but it can't be trapped and held and touched and felt. You know what I mean? So I was just trying to give them different concepts because everything that we see that we think is so-called physical and solid, in actuality, scientists already know it's not physical anyway because in the quantum, like I said, but anything that appears to be that way comes from what we say is invisible and unseen. Even our own flesh and blood and our own body. It starts from something that they can't see scientifically, knowing that the initial start of sexual reproduction. Whatever.
Okay, can I stop you right there?
Yes.
Everything within space-time is material. The unseen, the seen, the subatomic, the atomic, all of existence within space-time is material. Your thoughts, your mind is considered material. It's a emergent product from a material source. So you're philosophically grounded. Your philosophical grounding is incorrect. Not because you can't see it mean it isn't physical. Like you indicated, we can measure wind. You can't touch it, you can't hold it. We can measure heat. You can't touch it, you can't hold it. You can experience it because it's there. It's empirical. Now, the metaphysical concepts you are coming up with is the way, you know how they came up with them? What you're doing right there. They sat down without any data and try to figure out how this thing in my head is going on. Well, you know what we're going to call it? We're going to call it a soul. And the next dude say, yeah, man, that's deep. You see, the soul is a connection to the divine. Yeah, man, that's deep. There is no divine. So again, Ank's question was imperative. If you speak of a soul, you're speaking of a particular narrative that is only grounded within a theological framework, and only a theological framework based on the three monotheistic religions. Because if you go to Asia, for example, their idea of a soul is chi, is completely devoid of any divinity having to do with any connection to a God or an afterlife. You see? So again, when you sort of slow down and listen to where Ankh was trying to take you, because what about cultures that have no concept of a soul?
Okay, brother. Now, you're right? But look at this to me, man. So the spirit and the soul is basically interchangeable. Okay. So what you call it? Chi?
Stop. I'm gonna cut you off again.
Okay.
Let's ground ourselves in this conversation. Do you understand what metaphysical is?
Yes, I already explained that. I know
what is metaphysical. What is
above the physical?
No, that's not explaining me what metaphysical is.
It's non-physical, immaterial things.
No.
Yes.
No.
The word metaphysical itself means beyond the physical.
Okay. So now let me explain you what metaphysical is. Metaphysical are conceptual ideas, things people think of without having any evidence to support it. There is no evidence for a soul. There's no evidence for a spirit. It's a conceptualized idea, a metaphysical idea, trying to explain what neuroscience has taught us that it is the mind, an emergent property of the brain. So you can shake your head all you want. If you're not philosophically grounded, then there's pointless to this discussion. Metaphysics is conceptual ideas that are not grounded in empirical data or epistemic reality. Do you understand those words?
That is something that's not physical. Yes.
No. Quantum physics. Stop. Non-physical is not
They got it, you dumb runner. I'm done.
Non-physical. Stop. I was quiet the
Trying to
whole
be
time.
done
So
15
now you're
minutes
going to
ago.
listen for me a little bit.
You say what? I thought you was in.
I was trying.
Non-physical doesn't mean immaterial.
Look, you can't-
Space-time is material. The fabric of reality, space and time is material. Now, these are concepts that you need to slow down on the weed to grasp.
So what is the material?
The weed, the grass.
What is material?
Stop.
Hey, your insults are ridiculous because I'm still sticking to this. I'm still
So you're missing.
That was funny. Yeah, that was good.
It does not mean
the insult was ridiculous.
Bro, listen. Just listen. Immaterial doesn't exist within the confinement of space. It is all material, not necessarily physical in the atomic sense, but it's all material.
No, it's not.
He said it real calm. He said the insult is incredible. That shit was funny. That was a good one, yo. That was a good one. He got me with that one, yo. That was a good one. It's ridiculous. He got. Do you see how he got proper on his yo? He said the insult.
Oh, that's funny, bro.
It's retarded. I don't understand y'all.
I'm not here retarded.
Hey, yo, we all.
Is my screen showing this?
Oh no.
Come back next week where we're going to start to explore and dissect the Bible.
I see what you're doing, yo. He really talking like some metaphysics.
Can you see my screenshot?
No,
he doesn't understand what metaphysics is.
Screen's not
You
showing.
want me to bring up evidence, right? Huh? It's not sharing?
Yeah, it's not showing up.
Hold on.
For me to
my
share
bad.
it.
Hold on. I got you. Hold on.
No evidence. Won't show up.
I got you right now. There you go.
I need a shirt saying, where's the evidence?
Well, and no physical evidence.
You don't see it?
Okay. Y'all can see it? Okay, cool. All right, so let me go to the top so y'all can see where it's coming from and all that.
You got this poof-ass source.
I told you, he doesn't understand materialism. He doesn't understand.
But still, it's backed by science, though, right? You know what I mean? Okay, cool. And then it say powered by the positive plug. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I would never get a source
So
that's
here you
got
go.
ads like that. A lot of time it's a little janky.
Not necessarily because it seems like they're quoting. They found an article and they just published it on their theme. But okay, here we go. It says how scientists prove that nothing is solid.
I'm gonna hurt you, Kent. You playing with me?
It say we have known for some time.
I do.
No, whatever. I feel like you playing with me. Go ahead.
Okay, we have known for some time that every object is made of tiny molecules, and that molecules are made up of even tinier atoms. Atoms are made up of tiny subatomic particles called neutrons, protons, electrons. They say this invisible world, right? This invisible world that makes up the solid objects of our environment is the world of quantum physics. So that's a key phrase, sentence y'all need to catch right there. It's the invisible world that makes up our solid world is what they're calling the world of quantum physics. Okay. Now it say molecules and atoms vibrate slower in a solid state and faster in the liquid state or gas state. Think about the examples of ice, water, and steam. All of these are water in its various forms. The only difference between ice and steam is how much cold or heat we apply to the molecules that make up water. Okay? So it's showing how something non-physical is actually creating solid thing. Okay. It said maybe you remember from chemistry class that water is made up of one hydrogen and two oxygen atoms, which is why we represent water as H2O. They say the atoms are made up of subatomic particles that are the nucleus consisting of protons and neutrons and the outer part, which is where the electrons are found. They say electrons are energy. Electrons are where we get electricity. Okay, electrons have a negative charge and protons have a positive charge, whereas neutrons are neutrally charged. when electrons move from one atom to another, there's a current of electricity created. So basically, they're saying everything is electricity. First of all, and everything is solid. Let me keep going. It's a physicists prove that nothing is solid. Now we're talking about the physicists proving it. It's there are spaces between the atoms that make up the molecules that make up water. Okay. In fact, if you had one molecule of water, okay, same shit. Okay. All right. They said, in fact, if you had one molecule of water and we're able to look for the part of that defines the stuff that makes water a tangible, physical, wet thing, you wouldn't be able to find it. Okay? What did it say again? Is that if you had one molecule of water and we're able to look for the part that defines the stuff, which is the metaphysical part of it, that makes water a tangible, physical material.
That's wrong as hell. I gotta stop you because this is
get it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, we're not gonna continue with that bullshit. But
that's what scientists saying, and it disproven everything that guy was saying.
Well, this is the pseudo killers. I'm not going to continue to let you spew misinformation on our channel. That is incorrect. Just because you can't see something don't mean it's metaphysical. It's crazy, okay? We have evidence for things we can't see. We can't see black holes, but we have empirical data for that. Do you get that? So that's I don't. You missed the left turn somewhere in your travels of discovery with all this. That's all I gotta say. So you on the boonie.
No, I did it all.
You did, but we're not.
I just explain you that you don't understand the difference between physical and material.
Better say you said.
Go ahead, Kit. God Killer.
I got you.
Cedric, go ahead and give your final comment.
Oh, my bad.
Tune in next week.
And don't touch the controls, Kit. I'll hurt you.
Tune in next week for our new series where we start to explore the Bible and to the Muppet Show. Stay out of pseudo killer business.
Man. Okay. Who you talking to me? You can't be talking to me.
No, you can't be talking to Kent. You mute it. I'm mute.
I'm looking forward to see that debate, man, Cedric. Shout out to the pseudo killers, man. We in here. Y'all stop playing with us, cause don't think cause we trying to damn be cool.
Exactly.
That we cool. Ain't no love for real. Ain't no peace. So I'm gonna just put that out there, man. You know what I mean? Shout to the God Killer, man, for bringing us all together. And shout to Juju, man, for producing a great show today, man. Shout to Cedric. Did a wonderful job, man, for the last couple of days. Let's get it, man.
Yeah. You know what?
Big up, man. Man, big up. That's all I can tell y'all. Big up. Bless them up, man. Bless them up.
Bless it up.
We always got one in the chamber. Be careful what you say. There's 25 episodes lined up. You might just be in the crossfire with a boogeyman.
Facts. But with that said, thank you for joining us. Like the show, share the show. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. We'll be back with another one. And if you think that we didn't answer no questions, just a little piece, because that's what we heard in the beginning. We got a lot more coming. Don't you worry. We got a response for the Muppets. Don't worry. We got it. Shout out to Kermit and who's that? Who is that? Kermit and
Bozo. Bozo the clown.
Shout out to Kermit and Miss Piggy. They like the stars of the Muppets. So yeah, that's what we doing. Here we go. Shout out. It's all in love. No disrespect. Darkest minds of the light.
All disrespect.
Well organized live. Defeats a disorganized troop. Every time for who we.
A pseudo gon' die, they saw a pseudo killer. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunslinger. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunslinger. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunslinger. Pseudo gon' die, they saw a pseudo killer. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunslinger. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunslinger. I'm a pseudo killer. bad information. Ain't disinformation, that's disinformation. Gotta know the difference in information. Get information with the pseudo killer army hunting pseudo. Cause you gotta train your mind to fight against them pseudo judo. People with the scholarship salute, we give them kudos. But the people with that look of shit, we look and see straight through those like telescope. If you ain't speaking fast, we gotta tell them folks and let them know the truth of. You bringing malinformation to blast, then you the Ku Klux. Like say, don't talk me to death, bro, what the proof of? Good juju chillin', why you wanna go way bad juju Shalom boy got the tank in the cut. I'm in Sosa world plotting on the kick though with Kent. Come in Tiffany gave me the pseudo names on the list and said went and got the low. Anthony got him in the scope, Gullah and Gozy. Make sure DNA ain't a problem for them folks, cause a pseudo gon' die, they saw a pseudo killer. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling, ayy. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling, ayy. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling, ayy. Pseudo gon' die, they saw a pseudo killer. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling, ayy. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling, ayy. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling, ayy.
We're not attacking individuals, we're attacking the information and attacking the methodology. This is long time coming right here. Let them know that we right there, running neck and neck with all other commitments. We will not be left behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.